Hey friends, welcome back to our channel. I said our because we have a special guest today. Again, thank you to Barry, who is the owner of this beautiful home. I am babysitting Maddie and she allowed me to record in her space, so thank you so much. I've been here for a week and I find it such a great opportunity to get my content filmed. I'm really wanting to develop my channel and I want to get as much on there as possible. So thank you again, Barry, for allowing me to do that. Today we're going to talk handstands. I get asked all the time, how long did it take me to handstand? What did I do to get there? La 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 la. In my flexibility video, I spoke about how I got to be as flexible as I am now, my history of it. I touched upon handstands a little bit on there, but I didn't really give full detail or else I would have been speaking for like half an hour more. And I wanted this video to speak about now my handstand journey and what it involved. I don't remember, I was looking through my emails to see when was my first handstand class I took at Body and Pole. I think it was in 2013. It was with Richie McGuire, who is he was a professional acrobat. And the class at Body and Pole is called Invertibles. It's a handstand conditioning class that breaks down all the technique, the drills required to get you on your hands, to get you upside down. And that's whether you want to learn a headstand, a forearm stand, handstand, dynamic, cartwheel things. It's a class that involves all levels and touches all bases, anything upside down. When I first took it, and let me just say, at that point, I was able to kick up to a wall without any qualms, without any fear. I kind of had crow. I'm probably lying to say if I did. I don't remember. I was attempting crow. I think I haven't gotten both feet up yet. I didn't have a headstand at all. I didn't even know. I knew what it was, but I didn't have it. And any like bent arm shapes were non-existent to me. So we stretched, because handstands involves legs, and with straddle and all that stuff is to get the legs warm and they're flexible to help you kick up, even in a forearm or headstand. And we worked on different drills, lifting the pelvis up for press work and leg work, so straight leg lifts while sitting down in a piked position. So we went through some drills that are very much from the gymnastic world as well as the circus world. I think they really intertwine. And we did different like b-boy shapes that I could not do. We attempted a headstand that I was like, oh my gosh. I couldn't even get on my head completely. And I think I remember I tried it at yoga once and I was terrified. I couldn't get my knees to chest while balancing on these 3 points in the triangle. So I attempted it again in Richie's class and couldn't do it. I was like, okay, all right, I'll work on it, no problem. The next time I took Invertibles, it was with Samantha Star. She really is the one who just jump-started my handstand training. She is a pole artist as well as a movement enthusiast and handstand fanatic. I'll leave all her info down below so you could just see her adventures upside down. She really gave me a new perspective on how to work on handstands. Before, I was just kicking up, hoping for the best, hold it on the wall, see what happens. I didn't have any guidance in terms of how to train them, how to break the technique down, what the technique even was. So when we took her class, she started with the wrist warm up, the shoulder warm up. We actually started standing just to get the whole body warm and to break down the different components. Hand placement, shoulder placement, torso placement in terms of engaging the core when you're actually up there. And of course, flexibility in the legs when kicking up. The more flexibility you have, the more closer you can start in with your legs and the easier it is. The farther you are apart, the more you have to work in getting your hips over your shoulders. So warming those up first, and then we started with the drills. Different ways to kick up. You could kick up one leg at a time. You can kick up tuck. You could kick up pike. You could kick up straddle. So breaking that down, and also the theory on push. When you're upside down, yes, when we're standing, we want the necks to be long, the shoulders to be back and down. But when you're on your hands, that flips. So you want your shoulders to be as up in your ears as possible. That's going to give the shoulders the most strength to keep, to sustain, while all the weight is on them. I was like, oh wow, I didn't know the anatomy, the mechanics of handstands. So when she broke it down, I was like, okay, I get it. Then we went through different headstand drills, which was one of the things I was excited about, because maybe like after a couple of weeks, I finally got onto my head and hands. And in headstand, usually you go up, you go down. She was doing like leg dancing, tuck-ups, hike-ups, straddle-ups. I was like, oh! And it was so great, because once I got the headstand, I was able to drill the different leg movements and build strength in my shoulders, in my hands, in my wrists, and gain confidence in changing legs while on my head. Upside down, period. And also it allows you to feel the pelvis work in relation to being upside down. There's this like tuck action that happens, or untucking, when it goes to get your shoulders, or rather get your hips over the shoulders. Practicing that on 3 points really helped me when I started to get stronger on two hands. And then we worked on forearms, using your back flexibility just to get that butt over and get the legs over and feel what you need to do to hold the balance. So her class, her guidance really jump-started my handstand journey, and I attribute a lot to what I know to her. So if you're watching this, Sam, I love you so much. Thank you for your inspiring ways, teachings, and continuously pushing me to get better. Meow. After I took her class, and then she like led me to take all the workshops, other teachers, and that's how I met Miguel. Miguel Sant'ana, who I also put his info down below, is a professional hand balancer. This guy does not play around. He is straight up technique, technique, technique. If you don't do it in the way he believes it is supposed to be done, it's not a handstand. That's it. I was like, okay, I get it. I am listening. I took his workshop at the CrossFit, I think in Long Island City somewhere, in Queens, and I took the beginner workshop, and we broke down hand placement, fingertip grabbing, shoulder placement, and also the elbows, really getting them to face forward, shoulders, again, into the ears, rib cage engagement, torso, hips, legs, feet, the whole 9 yards. Breaking down different entries, breaking down why is it important to hold the index finger forward versus slightly in. You'll see a lot of crazy things, I think, with hand placement. People usually go wide because it feels safer here, but you have to go where your shoulders are, rather into your ears. Hi! So if your shoulders are into your ears, your hands are not going to be this wide. They're going to be here. So that's where you're going to get the most push, the most strength to hold the shape on. Grabbing with the fingers, just like when we're on our feet, we don't notice it because we've been walking all our lives. You got to use those toes to grab when you feel yourself falling, so you have to use your fingertips for the same thing. And muscle memory. When you're training anything, your body is so smart, it's going to remember what you tell it to do. no matter if it's bad or good technique. It doesn't know the difference. You intentionally have to practice with great technique. Anytime you attempt to go up in a handstand, how you place your hands, how you kick up will be remembered for the next time and the next and the next. So if you want to get better, you have to go, let's say, into this up angle with great technique. If you stay with kicking up with bent legs versus straight, or you enter without pushing your shoulders forward but leaving your shoulders where they are and just kicking your hips over, those habits become hard to break. And he stressed, follow from hands to toe, good technique, good entry, and it will get better. And when you have that handstand, everything will be where it needs to be, in the correct place. Of course, this video is like, how did I get to handstand? So I won't be able to break down all the exercises, as this is not really the ideal setting for me to show you where everything needs to be. You know, see, you don't see my hands. You don't see my hands. I will do a video on the different drills that have helped me. I'll post it on here. Promise. I know I say that and it's like, well, where is it? I'm gonna get there. Hold on. And from then on, I actually went to Miguel's handstand retreat in Hawaii, which was great. 7 days of handstand training. Boom, boom, boom. It was like, I'm sorry, I only speak handstand. What? I would say it is, okay, it's 2016, so it took me 3 years to get a handstand. And that may be relatively short, I guess, because people are like, I've been doing it for this many years, I still don't get it. It's about technique. It's about your approach. When I was really gaining confidence in kicking up in the middle of the floor, I practiced every day, twice a day. I was crazy. And one of the things that gave me confidence is learning how to bail. If you don't know how to bail, you won't be able to kick up enough what you need to get your butt over your shoulders. You won't. Kicking up to a wall gives you the confidence to kick up with 2 legs, but you don't really know where your shoulders need to go because the wall is there. I learned how to cartwheel out when I knew I was gonna fall out. And yes, I did have a wheel, so I was able to kick over into wheel, but you know what? I didn't want to do that each and every time because sometimes I wanted to practice handstands in the morning and when my back wasn't really warm, I didn't want to go into a front walkover. So I learned how to go exit out from the sides. I first learned my fingertip grab for the first time when I did split legs or stag legs. I started on a wall, L shape, so this is me, this is the wall, my legs were up on the wall and my hands were down, and I took one leg off the wall at a time and I felt my hands work in order to hold it. It was so cool because this was the first time where I actually felt the work in trying to hold this stupid ass handstand. It was so great to actually feel what it was to hold a handstand. Granted, it wasn't straight, my legs were out, I was bendy, but I felt my fingers work. I was like, oh, this is what she was talking about. So I slowly started to just work on that, saving it, and also not cartwheeling out, not walking over, but going back to where I started. It was a long journey, and at one point I did get injured because my weight wasn't here. It was like here, and I was grabbing in with my thumb this way, and this tendon got inflamed. I remember it started before, I think a year ago, before I went on my handstand retreat, and when Miguel really, of course, as he always does, breaks down the technique and put me where I was supposed to go in a straight handstand, and I was holding it more here, tendon was healed, all was good in the world. So now I can hold a handstand straight for 30 seconds. I can confidently work on differing leg shapes while on my hands. I can press, straddle press. I could also press standing split. I could sometimes press in a tuck. I gotta be really warm and on a good day. If you want to get a handstand, you have to be willing to work on it all the time. The great thing is that all you need is you and some room with some maybe furniture out of the way. I would say the most distinct memory of a younger me practicing handstands was when I was in my living room with carpet, thank goodness, just kicking up, hoping for the best. I had no technique. I had no idea what I was doing, why I was doing it. And of course, after that, I just gave up. I learned handstanding as an adult, just like I became more flexible as an adult. And it's tough when you're an adult, you're scared, you're like, I don't want to crack my head open. Yeah. When you're a child, the floor is so near. You're like, whatever, I fell, let's do it again. Yay. Not so much that mentality these days with us. If you're looking to improve your handstands, yes, workshops with hand balancers will help. I will list all my teachers down below. They do travel, so if you can catch them in your state, in your country, then sign up, because it's well worth to work with an individual who is a professional hand balancer. They've done this their entire lives. This is what they do, what they perform. This is their livelihood. So if anyone's gonna get you right, it's them. I will post all my teachers who helped me directly. But if you're in yoga and you feel like you hit a wall and you don't know how to get better, hand balance coach, for sure. In terms of how much I practice, I try to train 4 to 5 days a week. I've been a little off this week. I didn't train my handstands for the last 2 days. Ooh. And again, when I go in there, I need to be really disciplined about technique, about my execution, so that all my time I spend is gonna elevate me to a better handstand, not keep me here. Getting on your hands is not enough. You want to train security, that no matter where you are, your hands go down, you're balancing, period. Oh, let me take 5 tries to kick up. No. I really was influenced again by Miguel's discipline about nailing the technique, nailing the handstand in 1 try, as he would say. And that really helped me build a strong line, build strong technique. And I get on myself all the time, because some days you're like, yes, I'm nailing it. And others it's like I've never trained a day in my life. And that's, I think, the one thing you have to be prepared for if you want to go in hard with the handstands. It is the hardest skill to master. As simple as it is in terms of what you need, just yourself, just the floor. If you want to build to 1 arms, contortion, hollow backs, it takes a while. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of patience. And on those days where you're not hitting anything, it's like you feel like lead, your technique is just out the door, it's frustrating. There's always something to work on. Whether you just hold a straight handstand on the wall facing it, that's another drill I'll put on here. Even if you just hold this on the floor with your hips up, with your toes still on the floor, there's so many nuances in between detailed drills you can still practice without having to actually go up if you're having a really bad day. And it's so funny, sleep, really, I felt without it, handstand practice is not happening. One day I didn't get a ton of sleep. I tried to practice and it was a crap show. No good. So if anything, practicing handstands kind of influences you to take better care of yourself in terms of recovery. Don't go crazy and practice every day, twice a day. You really need to give your hands and wrists a break from that, because it's a lot of weight on them. And when you're starting to get on your hands more, you gotta let them say, okay, we got it. Your body's heavy, okay? And a day at a time. When you feel stronger, that you feel you can handle more, then maybe you hold it for 10 seconds more, or maybe you do an extra drill that you didn't do the previous day. I don't want to make this an hour-long video, but I think I touched on all the points on how I got to where I am, how I was able to hold a handstand, learn how to hold a handstand. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. I really appreciate your support for my last video, my flexibility one, because I know there are a lot of adults out there who want to learn how to get more flexible. They just don't know what to do, don't know who to ask, don't know where to look. So I just wanted to lend some guidance with that. Right? Oh, me too. If you have any questions about this handstand video, please don't hesitate to ask below. Again, I will list all the information from the people I mentioned in this video, as well as suggestions for coaches, workshops that I've been to that I feel will help you get to handstand land. Thank you guys again. Much love to you all, and I'll see you on the next one.